my name is Ardalan Gilalizadeh. Today I'm here beside Mehran Yaqoubi from the North Leech Farm and the Green Leech Farm here. I want to show you today. Help me about what is the story of leech farming. Here we are here in the standard leech farm. I want to show you step by step of a leech farming. Numerous of you, especially Indian people, are interested to learn more about the leech farming. As you can see here, we can at the first step we should have a water tank near the water tank, depending on the size of your room, the size of your chamber. For example, I will tell you how much square meters you can start. Here is the, I think, the near here is the near the 100 meters. 100 meters with the under cultivation near 400 square meters, near all in the under the shelves. The leech, numerous of you asked me about the how we can start the leech farming, the equipment that we need. First step, you need a water tank. Here, very important, in the vertical side we should consider, because when you consider the vertical side for water tank, usually occupy a smaller size. For example, if you consider the horizontal, this occupies a lot of space of you. Therefore, you should consider like the vertical is for the pump also is better. 2. Why the 2? For example, some of the water tank face with the problem for the pollution. One of them engage with the pollution. Therefore, usually 2 are recommend, even the 3. But now here, even for this square meters with the 2 water tank is good. Each capacity is the 1,000 liters. The capacity 1,000 liters. We have the near the 2,000. Both of them is a 2,000 liter. In the vertical, this is have the bio pipe, and this is the water tank. Okay, for the storing water. First equipment that you need is the water tank for the storing water. Why storing water? Why we should store water? Because for the preventing of the temperature fluctuation. For example, if you don't have any water tank and directly receive the water, for example, the outside is the temperature is a 4 centigrade, outside is a 30 centigrade. When the immediately water come to the farm, all the leech face with problems. Leech is so sensitive to the temperature fluctuation. We store the water here, we stay, and regulate the temperature exactly that experience here. For example, here temperature is at 20 centigrade. This water we store near the 24 hours, and when they regulate of the temperature here, for example, now outside is the temperature is near 10 centigrade. With the storing after the 7 hours, the water converted into 20 centigrade. And another reason for the removing the color after that for the storing, if you immediately receive the from the city that you use in your house, high has including a lot of the high color. For the storing for the 24 hours, we reach the color near the 0.2, 0.02, 0.03, and the remove. That is storing, and the water tank is very important. Don't think the water tank is for saving, not for the saving, for the reaching to the ideal factors. After that, after the water tank, you can see the air conditioners. In this size 100 liters, the air conditioner is suitable. If you have the bigger size, you can use air handling unit inside the air conditioner, because now for the leeches usually we need the temperature from the 17 centigrade to 30 centigrade. For the storing of the leech, we need to 17 centigrade temperature. For the breeding, for the feeding of the leeches, we need to for the feeding, for the giving the blood, we need to 25 centigrade. For the cocooning or the breeding, we need the temperature 30 centigrade. With this, all of you know air conditioners you use in the office, you use in the home. This you can regulate the temperature exactly that you need, depending on the process that you are located, depending on your process. For example, now here we are storing in the quarantine of the leeches, we need to temperature 17 centigrade. Okay, we should change. If you are in the 4 process, you should divide. Okay, for example, here we divide. This is for the feeding, this is another for the breeding, and another. Here in the 100 liters, I will show you, everything is divided via plastic, via artificial wall, because we cannot in the one room all the process. For example, you have the feeding, you have the breeding, cocooning, and the storing or quarantine the leeches, because each process needs a special temperature. In the one room, you cannot simultaneously you have the 18, 25, 30 centigrade. Now each room, each process. Another thing that is very important, I want to show you, this is the shelves. The shelf that you can see, this is the profile 2 by 2. This is the, you can see this is the profile 2 by 2. And another for the trays, we use the iron, aluminum for the trays. You can use in the market, easily purchased. And the shelf, the distance between two shelves is near 40 centimeters. 40 centimeters. The first floor for this is near the 20 centimeters for the cleaning, and like this, I told you, water tank, a split or air conditioner, and the shelves. Other thing that is very important, everything that we needs to the for the keeping the leeches boxes. The boxes is a very important. We have numerous options for the storing the leeches. I will tell you, for example, here you can see a plastic boxes like here. This is the 10 liters, 15 liters. You can purchase from 10 liters capacity to 20 liters. For example, here 5 or 10 liters, 20 liters, and others. Usually for this box that we want to keep the leeches, you can consider 10 liters to 20 liters. Some of people, I'm sure you have seen in the video, some in the YouTube, also some of them use these plastic for the keeping. You know, some people, instead of having 100 plastic small box, instead of 1000 plastic box, use 50 of these, has a bigger capacity. But I don't recommend this for the storing for the keeping the leeches here. I don't recommend, because leeches is so sensitive. If any leech faced with a problem, receive the disease or the disorder, that leech engage other leeches. Therefore, if you store the leeches here in the one big one, for example, if you keep near the 100 leeches here, all 100 leeches face with the problem. Even the cleaning, changing the water, we have a lot of problems. But another most important thing, we want to have some diseases. If the leeches receive the disease, only the number of the small size, only a little size of the leeches face with the problems. We don't want all the leeches face with problems. With this method, this is a very small. This is we can replace, we can change, we can give to the market, we can change the water. This is for example here in the 10 leeches. If one of the leeches faced with the disease, only other 4 leeches face with the problem and disease. Because in the water in the 1 second, all pollution is spread in the leech and all leeches engage with the diseases. But here, you assume 1 leeches face the problem, 100 leeches face with the problem. Therefore, it's much better you consider this plastic also to cheap. Here we have another thing that you can consider. This is like a aquarium. This is the glasses, you can use it. Glasses is a very good glasses, because you can see everything very clear. If the leeches face with a little problem, you can see and they give the drug or like this. But the glass is much better. But glass is the expensive, the glass. But the transportation, we face with the problem. Transportation, did you see? I face a little problem. Rather than, for example, comparing with this, easily I can. But I recommend, I show you, this is the number 1, this is the best one for the storing the leeches. Other things you can use, this is other type of the keeping the leeches. After that, even, for example, you saw that is a very small, this is a 2 times of this, you can use of this, okay? But that is very important. I want to show you, this is not clear, you cannot see all the movement of the leeches. For example, if one leech with the problems, you cannot see the all. But here, like the glass, you can see Okay, this leach is faced with problem. I can immediately change it and put it to another water. But here, I'm not able to see the leech movement. Now here I want to show you, beside the Meran is the owner of this farm, of the North leech farm and the green leech farm. Here I will show you what is the usage of the leeches, what is the we can use. Stay tuned with me. I want to show you the size of and continue this story. I want to show you what is the story of the leech farming. What is the story? You know, I want to start from the one point. Usually we purchase the mother bulbs. One scenario is you purchase mother bulbs in the beginning of the spring, because spring and the summer the best time, because automatically temperature go to 28 centigrade high temperature, and for the breeding and for the cocooning, for the receiving the mother bulbs, beginning of the spring is the best time. Beginning of the spring is best time. We want to show you, please show me one mother bulb. The story of the leech farming, one scenario. In the beginning of the spring, you purchase mother bulbs. You purchase mother leech. You purchase mother leech beginning of the spring. This is very big one. Okay. This is the near 12 centimeters, 15 centimeters. I want to show you. Beautiful. This is this kind of the Persian leech. The best one in the world, without doubt. This is the mix of the medicinalist and orientalist. This is the best one for the Iran. This is the mother leech. See, what is the specification of the mother leech is very clear. The black point and here like this, 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, very clear. Yellow and the black one, yellow, black one, black one. I want to show you here. Completely green and the black point, that is the yellow line connected to the two black point. You know, we purchased these mother leech in the beginning of the spring, and that is very clear. One scenario is we want to receiving the cocoon. These are the mother leech. Mother leech, unlike the other things like the, you know, this both of them, this is hermaphrodite. It doesn't need you purchase one female and another male one. Male and female simultaneously has these leeches. It doesn't need you purchase separately female and separately male. We don't have female leech, we don't have male leech. This leech is a hermaphrodite. Both of the organ has. But for the breeding, it doesn't mean you only this only can provide for you leech, cocoon. When you want to provide, you should provide both of them in the number, for example, 2, 4, 5, 6, 8, 10. If you want to have a successful breeding, you should provide in the number like 2, 4, because each leech needs to connect to the other leeches. For example, in the one of the plastic boxes that you want, you can have a 10, 20, because each leech needs to connect to it like this, and when they connect for the couple of hours per day, it can give you the cocoon. Okay. Now the story is in the we purchase the mother leech for the breeding. What condition is with the temperature near the 28 centigrade, the high humidity, and provide air like this for the constructing the beach, for the beaching, because we construct the beach for the cocoon. Even in the nature, the leeches found in the river, in the sun, small rivers find like this will go on the soil. Now provide the best one. Usually the people, this is have the best formula. This is usually mix of the vermicompost, mix of the vermiculite with the vermiculite is the perlite, is the cocoa peat, the mix of cocoa peat and the mix of the peat. This depending. Some of them use the moss, algae, you know, but depending like this, like the soil, each farm use the special. We provide here. We can use mix up این
کوکوپیت.
This is the cocoa peat.
ترکیبی پوسته درخت.
This is the mix of the cocoa peat and other thing that has this farm use, and like this. For the breeding, we purchase. If we want to have a breeding, if we want to have a propagate the leeches, we provide like this, like the beach, and we put the leeches. For example, 2 here. دارین زاویه که داخل این باشه.
اون تو هست.
نه این.
تو یکی هست.
We provide the plastic box like here, and put the leeches here. I want to show you one of the leeches here. This is completely wet because the leech needs to the wet condition go inside the cocoa peat, and you can. I want to show you. Okay, I found one of them. This is the one mother leech. Mother leech. Go here, for example, here. چند تا جا می‌ذارید معمولاً؟ 6. Usually there's 6 mother leech. They put the here 6, some of them 8 leeches. You can in these plastic boxes, you can 6 or 8. You can put here, and in the temperature that I told you, 28 centigrade, with the wet conditions like this, you should all the change from the water to this like this for the starting the breeding, for the starting the propagating. Usually each cocoon gives you 2 cocoon, 3 cocoon. Each mother leech give you, if you provide after the 2 months, after providing the beach, each mother leech gives you 2 cocoon or the 3 cocoon each. For example, if we have the 6 leech here, each cocoon give you 3 cocoon, and the 6, it means near the 18 cocoon you will receive from the each box, and the 18 cocoon usually from the each cocoon we receive near 15 larvae, 16 larvae, 15 larvae. But it's much better. It's much better. From one cocoon we receive a number of the low larvae, but big one. Not, for example, the 20 larvae, but all of the larvae is small. It's depending on the feeding, depending on your condition. Is much better. We have the special formula that we use. All of the cocoon, all of the larvae that receive from the cocoon, the number is that near the 10, 11, but all of the big one. For example, if you each cocoon also you can receive 20 larvae, but the size very small. It's much better. The number not too much, but the size of the weight of each leech is much better. Near the process usually takes time, 3 months. Finishing the middle of the summer, you can finish. During this condition, you should provide high temperature, high humidity, suitable the CO2, and after that, after the cocooning, all the cocoon now, because we are not in the season, 1 month later I want to show you, but I couldn't find the cocoon. But the cocoon exactly you can see the cocoon here. You can harvest, and the cocoon, all the cocoon you can, when you harvest the cocoon, and you should put it on the another boxes. For example, if you put the cocoon and the larva here, when the larvae come out from the cocoon, the mother leech is hungry, and the attack to the larva, that is not suitable for us. Immediately we should separate it for the preventing damaging mother to the children. Now here we separate, also put in the cocoa peat, and after 21 days, the majority of the larva will come out from the cocoon. But even after the 21 days, you couldn't see any larva. You should, all should be date with the paper date. You should write. And for example, the cocoon after 21 days usually hatch themselves and come out. If you didn't see any leeches come out yourself, you should with your hand hatch. It is enough you bring the cocoon light and see the larva. When you see the movement of the larva, and with your hand the cut, and with the artificial way you hatch the larva. Then after that, I want to wash my hand because it's very important to wash. After that, I want to start the story. What is the story? I told you. This is mother leech. You purchase mother leech. After the 3 months, you receive the cocoon. After the cocoon, the small, very small leeches will come out. This is larva.
Baby leech.
This is baby leech or the larva. I want to show you. At the end of the summer, in the spring, you purchase the larva. At the end of the summer, the small larva like this come out from the cocoon. You can see in my very small 2 centimeters, 1 centimeters, okay, 1 centimeters larva. This is the very small larva. I want to show you. This is very small larva, a small larva. You can see a small larva. This is the 1 centimeters. Okay, now 1 centimeter. This is one side. First mother leech, then larva, a small larva. Then after the 2 months, you know, the larva for the 2 months after the birthing, they don't need any blood. But after the 2 months, you should give them blood. The best blood is the cheap blood. You can give the frog blood. I will talk to you about separately about the feeding. But each 2 months, they change the size. For example, this is the larva, mother, give you cocoon, then larva. This is name of the larva, okay? After that, after the 2 months, they bigger one. They become bigger, the size of the needle larva, okay? Needle larva, I want to show you after the 2 months. I have put beside the Meran helped me a lot, million times. And now, you know, this is the 2 months after the larva, 2 or 3 months after the feeding. One time after the feeding, they bigger one near the 4 centimeter size. 4 centimeters size. While swimming. This is after the 2 months. The name is the needle leech. Again, then 2 months later after this, again, because the feeding is the 2 months to 2 months, after the feeding, 2 or 3 centimeters bigger one. This is match leech. This is the match leech. This is previous was 3 centimeters. Now this here 4 centimeters. 4 centimeters. This kind of the leech. Thank you. 4 centimeters. This is very small. This kind of, you know, before that, anybody doesn't purchase or they sell this kind of the saffron because doesn't have. Sometimes has, but doesn't have. This not regular the medical usage. But now in this size, you can just sell it your saffron to the doctors because this kind of the leeches is a very good for the face. This is name also the match leech. Also you can this because the below the eye is a very sensitive. You cannot speak. For example, the mother leech or the adult leech. You can use this very small or the match 4 centimeters. For example, inside below your eyes need to the leech therapy. You can put. They don't damage to your eyes. You can put in your eyes and easily good regulate your blood. Is much better. Usually the doctors love this kind of the leech. Okay. Now 2 months after this size, you know, first 2 months later, 4 months later, 6 months later. Now 8 months later, after this size, after the larva, 2 months after previous, 2 months after the match, they are near the 6 centimeters. 2 centimeters again, they became bigger one, known as the cosmetic leech. This is the cosmetic leech used for, this is the bigger one, we cannot use for the eyes, you can use for other side of the face. Also this suitable, this is the most expensive size of the leeches. Usually this is very expensive, this size, because used for the all face. You can use for the face, you can for the chest, for all part of your body you can use it. But this face is the amazing, it's a miracle. This is the cosmetic with the 6 centimeters. Thank you. After that, this is the cosmetic. You can with the 2 feeding after the 4 months, we receive mother leech. Again repeat, we reach to the beginning of the cycle. This is with the 2 months. Usually 1.5, 4 months, near the 1 year, 1.5 year, we can reach to the mother leech, and it doesn't need purchase leeches every year. We can purchase one-time leeches, and again ourselves provide. For the first time we are forced that the purchase from the other people, but in this cycle we can produce every year for ourselves our own mother bugs. Again repeat this cycle. Therefore for the storing, usually for the storing, this is, I show you the size of the leeches. Environmental condition, that is a very important. Each leech needs to the special temperature, light temperature, and the humidity and the CO2, very important, each factor. About everything in my book completely has been explained in the leech farming. If you need my book, step by step, each size of the leech has put a special temperature, each light. For each leeches, I have put the leech with the contact number of the company that you can purchase the leeches. Very clear in my book, you can purchase my book and see step by step of the leeches. About the temperature that needs, for example, for the breeding, we need high temperature, because they need for the cocooning, for the breeding. For example, we need a range of temperature between 25 to 30 centigrade. For the feeding, we need to 25 centigrade. For the storing, that is a very important storing. You can, for example, for the storing of the larva, of the needle, with the 4 centimeters larva, 6 centimeters cosmetic leeches, we need to keeping the best temperature, usually 15 centigrade to 16 centigrade. This is the ideal temperature, but even we can regulate the temperature even to 19 centigrade, but depending how many days after the feeding. For example, some of the leeches, they have feeding even the 7 days after the feeding, we need to temperature 25 centigrade. But usually leeches need to temperature from the 16 to 30 centigrade. In the breeding, cocooning, beginning of the spring till summer, temperature should be near the 28 centigrade. Humidity, usually in this stage, for the keeping the larva is a 70%. In the breeding, near the 100%. Leech in the spring and the summer, they need in the very humid region, because humid region and high temperature help us have the best cocooning. For the breeding, high temperature, high humidity, in the very low ventilations, they all help us to having the cocooning in this farm. And about the other condition, about the light, light, we don't need to the artificial light, so that, but only you can use the blue light. Only leech should understand. Usually leech doesn't need to light, but only we need amount of the looks should understand the difference between the day and night. Therefore, you should provide a small window is good for this size. For this size of the room, for example, 50 by 50 centimeters window, only for understanding the difference between day and night. This understanding difference between day and night help the leeches for the breeding, for the changing the size. But if every time, if the 24 hours of the completely dark, they is not able which day, which should movement, which for the breeding and other things. But therefore each day temperature for the size of the mother leech 28 to 30 centigrade, and a small larva 16 to 18 centigrade, and after that this is this size of the cosmetic near the 18 centigrade. We need control. The intestine after the process, this is the we can now we receive the blood. This is like this is blood, transportation of the blood like this. This is one blood plus ice water bottle. This is, and now we put the blood inside this completely like a sausage. We put the blood, then with this we close, we put the gun because I don't want in the right now, and then we put the blood to here. Okay, this is real blood, not the juice or like this berry water. This is really blood. Now we put the blood here inside this, and we close and completely. Then we put them in the warm water 45 centigrade, because the temperature inside this intestine blood should be reached to the 37 centigrade. Then we put in the boxes, and they like the natural, like in nature, they connected to this intestine and they receive. This is the best way for the feeding. Artificial intestine, put the blood, and then starting the feeding. Let me show you. This is blood, two ice water for the transportation of the blood. And now these are the intestine. Thank you. With the picture, this is for the feeding. Feeding, the most important part of the leech farming. Feeding, the most important part of the leech farming. In the leech farming, usually put some of them like lace provide, and for example, each circular plate you can use as 10 leeches, and like this, shouldn't be saturated with the blood, shouldn't be saturated. All leeches near the 1 centimeters in the depth should be located on the shouldn't be blood higher than the height of the leeches. Some of them mistakenly put all of the blood that the leeches fed with a lot of problem. Like this, exactly should be like this. We provide like this plate, and they put the blood here, and which can put the leeches. And other things use some this, provide a plastic, and like this plastic, put blood in the plastic, and connected the leeches like here. We have, I'm showing you two way of the feeding. Some of them, this is inside, this is a blood, and the leeches connected to this. Another blooding, and here about the cocoon. I explain you. This is cocoon for the in the spring that you purchase the mother leech. Each mother leech lays out 2 cocoon or 3 cocoon, and from each cocoon usually between the 10 to 15 a smaller baby leech come out. Here after the 21 days come out from the cocoon. This is a cocoon, and coming out of the larva from the cocoon. we can transport the leeches, how we can shipping the leeches for the transportation of the leech. For example, you want to purchase from the other country, from the other city, there are a fast instance. If the size of the amount of the leech is low, we can use this unit box. And if the city is for example 2 hours, 3 hours, we can put the leeches here. We can put the leeches inside this and close, and we can put, and some of them put another soil, small soils with the wet, we can put here. Some of them use the ice, the piece of the ice inside the water bottle, and we can for the longer distances. We can use, for example, this is for the transportation. We can put the leeches here, put all of the leeches and the close. Inside this we can use also a little, for example, the piece of the wet soil, for example like this, we can put, and here we close, and beside this we can piece of ice, for example ice water bottle here, and then for the 48 hours we can transportation like this. For the ventilation we can use put very small of this like this, very small for the ventilation, because the leeches need to the breathing and the wall long distance. Even with this way we can from the Iran to India to the, even with the 7 days is possible. And other boxes we can for the shipping, but don't forget the ventilation, the small holes with some ice water, and we can use the ice that is special for the shipping. This is the sand clock or the sunny. This is, there are numerous names for this kind of the leeches, because I want to show you now here very clear, like a rope that close the middle of the chest of these leeches, very clear. This is the sick. This is sick leeches. This is the very clear. Most of them like the rope from the middle completely closed. This is just this is a sick, and hopefully they very soon they diagnose that is a sick, and immediately we should separate and sort from the other leeches. We should in the separate boxes, because this in the 1 second is able transmit the disease to other leeches. This is the sick leeches. Numerous reason for this. After we have the 98% of the sick leeches after the feeding. 98%, that is a very clear. 98% of the diseases due to infected blood. The majority of us, we don't know what is the sign of the healthy blood. What should we do after the feeding? What temperature we need? What light? What, for example, how much amount of the sea salt we should give them? When we should change the water? All of them, they determine your healthy, the ratio of the healthy leeches. For example, numerous reasons cause this. First of all, because the 90%, I'm sure you better than me. You know better than me of the 98%. You experience that you are working on the leech. After the feeding, you have all of these kind of the sick and diseases, infected blood. Some of them they want, when they gather the leeches, only they want in the 10 minutes, 1 hour, 2 hours, feed all of the leeches. That is very clear. You provide for them the blood for them, but some of them, for example 20%, if they didn't receive any blood, they were not interested to the feeding of the blood, you should separate it. You shouldn't be persist after giving the blood. When they are not interested, you should give them, and they face with a lot of problem. When you give them the first step, you should find healthy blood yourself. Rather than yourself, you should cut, for example, find an animal. If you should find is the best center for for example, the blood sheep, for the blood frog. Fresh blood is very important. After receiving the blood, some of them use chemicals for the storing the blood. Use some chemicals for the blood, because leeches we should keeping all like liquid. Some of them Iran use the chemical, other countries use chemical in the blood for the preventing of the solid, and they want also 24-hour liquid, and these chemicals provide a lot of problem. We shouldn't enter any small chemical to the blood. We should, in the physical way, with the shaking, keep the liquid form for the blood. And also another reason is that when you in the box, when the disease and a leech is the leech, the color of the water is like this, like the red. This means we have inside here sick leeches. This is the first sign. You should immediately change the water and give them the best, not chemical, the best thing. Sometimes, for example, another time use salt, something with the change in bicarbonate. You should, if you regulate like the TDS, total dissolved solid, regulate in the pH, regulate the color, regulate the ammoniac. If you always keep them in the standard size, you don't have any sick. Also the changing, very important. For example, for the changing of water is very important. For example, for the breeding, for the bleaching, we are not allowed the changing water even for the 2 months. But for the after feeding, sometimes we need every day change the water. Therefore, the temperature fluctuation also is so important. Is the sick leeches or the cause of the disease, the temperature fluctuation. For example, the leeches, you don't have suitable air conditioners in the, sometimes in the one day is the temperature room is the 16, another day 4 centigrade, another day 25 centigrade. They are cows. Or some people, they are not able to control temperature under 20 centigrade, sometimes 26, 27. This is like a poison for the leeches. Of the leech, this is the jaws, pharynx, capsicum, intestinum, and the posterior sucker. I want to show you different parts of the leeches. Jaws, usually leeches receive from the jaws, receive the blood in the different parts. And some of my followers ask me about what is the usage of the leeches. This is very important. Leech therapy in the different part of the body, they work like a professional surgeon like this. They use, very important, in the leg, in the hand. This is the leech therapy. But leech therapy only one of the usage of the leeches. Now, finally, this is the leech therapy. Usually with this, I don't know he or she. I told you both of them has she, he is she is he, and hermaphrodite. This is like the leech therapy. One of them immediately exact very clear. Both of them, they are receiving the blood like the professional surgeon. Inside their mouth have a lot of now after the 15 minutes finish leech therapy from the finger. You know, leeches after the leech therapy automatically themselves release the part of the body that they already feed the blood. I told you, leech therapy, only one of the usage of the leeches. We have different byproducts of the leeches. That is, you will be surprised about the byproduct of the leeches. What is this?
شامپوی زالو
The leeches shampoo
که داخلش گیاهای مختلف هست اما توش روغن زالو.
Mix of plants and leech oil. The mix of the leech. This is the shampoo by origin of the leeches. This is by company. This is the Green Leech Farm. Mr. Yagubi.
کرم
This is the cream.
آبرسانه
This
که
is for
داخل
the,
اینم
for the
روغن
skin.
داخل اینم روغن زالو استفاده
All of
میشه.
them has a leech oil. Yes, this is byproduct of the leeches.
یه آبرسان خیلی قوی.
They are the natural cream. They are. This is
این
providing the water for skin.
اصطلاحاً برق لبه
Okay.
که
Is it for
حتی
cosmetic for the women or بزنات?
بله برای خانوماست،
For the
برای
ladies.
آقایون هم استفاده میشه، برای ترک
For
لب.
ladies.
اینه برای خانوما به عنوان حجم دنده استفاده میشه. رنگش هم از لبوه.
Okay. This like act like a roach. It's very clear cosmetic for the women. Also give the volume for the part that women that want. And this is also the leech oil.
لیچ اویل
Leech oil.
یا روغن زالو حجم دهنده است.
I think this is the main byproduct of the leeches, leech oil. How we can extract the leech oil from the leech? چطور میتونیم مثلا زاغن رو بگیریم؟ خیلی کلی.
روغن زالو
Is-
باید این روغن
This-
زالو برای
this is-
گرفتن روغن زالو
this is
نیازی
leech
که زالو به یه سایزی برسن و نیازی که حتما غذا دهی 6 ماه بهش اتفاق نیفته. بعد این رو زالو رو میگیریم خشکش میکنیم، حالا تو روغنای پایه ترکیبش میکنیم.
Okay, therefore, for example, we use a mother leech, and for 6 months we don't give any blood, any feeding, and after the 6 months we kill the leeches, then dry the leeches, and then mix dry leech with the other base oil. Therefore, we will have the leech oil. You see?
این صابون زالو
Soap.
برای اولین بار تو ایران سیب سلامت گرفت.
This is for the first time in Iran received the license for the cosmetic byproduct. It's another soap for the women in the soap.
که صابونش به این شکل.
This is consists of this assistant شده
حالا پایه صابون داره، داخلش روغن زالو.
inside the leech oil. All of them has a oil leeches. This is byproduct. We can use all our cosmetic that daily we use with the origin of the leech.